Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Tower of God Season 3, Episode 159, or overall Chapter 576. Excited to get into reading it, as I always am. So I mentioned, with last week's chapter I'm going to be super excited for the future because we're going to have Bomb going up against this creature as they try to escape. We're going to have Bomb's group escaping. I am really excited to see the interactions between Bomb's group because he has a really interesting group with him right now. On top of all of that, we've got a week in universe time before the showdown between Gastang and Traumerei. So in that week's time, we might have other characters coming back into play. Not only do we have other characters coming into play, people are going to be being sent, presumably, by Traumerei and Gastang, who are trying to capture Bomb before the week is up. People are going to be presumably sent by them. We have connections going on with that, like Gastang's close allies like Rachel and Belarir having the revolution connection with Gororo. Plus we're gonna have other stuff. We still need to see what is going on with Lobadan or Robadan and with Yama's group, Karaka's group. Plus something I think I forgot to mention last week. We also have Laura, who's still in the lighthouse, I think, and Lilial and Chilial coming, so we get to finally, hopefully Laura wakes up and we get some more sort of explanation, more character stuff there. So there's a lot going on to be excited about, and at the beginning of this one, clicking onto it, we have another content warning. And so I noticed during last week's chapter, towards the end, when I was talking my way through it, just discussing it, reviewing it a little at the end, I was like, oh, this totally ties in with sort of Hema Slime's character arc. She was presented this arc, said, oh, I'm here to get my family's guardian animal. That's one of the few sort of arc plot points that hasn't been wrapped up this arc, and maybe it won't be, at least like maybe the character's just being left off on a vague sense of, man, maybe she'll die, she'll probably die, but we're not going to show it, so there's always that question there. It's just one of those like bittersweet, mysterious endings where not everything has to be fully explained for you to get the gist of the story, especially with like a side character. But seeing this content warning, I'm like, oh, Bomb is going to eviscerate this thing, isn't he? So it's maybe not her family's guardian creature, because Bomb might tear this thing to shreds. Because I think it's something that a lot of people bring up all the time. I know watching Dr. Bonehead's reaction streams, something that he brings up, I always watch the VODs, something that he brings up is like, sometimes there will be a lot of violence, but there's no content warning. And then sometimes there's a content warning and it's like, oh, I didn't really think anything was particularly bad that chapter. Last chapter, I was like, oh, maybe because of the creatures, violence towards animals. Rules are weird when it comes to content and stuff, at least like speaking from an American perspective. If you look at what you're allowed to show in TV and stuff, like there are a million different rules for like how much cleavage you're allowed to show, or like cursing, the use of drugs and alcohol, like only being able to use a few curse words. But then violence like is like a very unrestricted in a lot of ways compared to like sexual themes, or compared to the limited amounts you're allowed to say shit, or not being able to say fuck at all most of the times. So it's kind of like standards and practices are very, very weird when it comes to content. So it's like maybe normal violence, because there have been some really violent, bloody chapters with no warning, is one thing, but maybe there are stricter rules. I don't know what Webtoons has to abide by. Maybe there are stricter rules with depictions of violence towards animals, and maybe that's it, because that's really all the violence was directed toward towards last chapter that I can remember. And then yeah, this chapter, it doesn't feel like we're setting up for there to be a lot of violence against humans. Again, it's Tower of God, there could always be, but we are setting up for Bomb to go swimming in the Shinsu tank. So I guess either way, long intro aside, let's just see what happens. But yeah, judging from the warning here at the beginning, it just makes me think Bomb is going to shred this thing. We start off with Bomb saying, yes, I can. I'll see you at the arena. And then we have the Dugong sub pointing downward as always. That was very astute of you, Lord Traumerei. says Umtiti. Again, I think it's Umtiti. Didn't bother to look up their name after last reaction, sorry. But I think I got it right. I see you never intended to let the regular go in the first place. Gororo appears to intend to use the submarine to pass through the battleship's main central water tank, but the Shinsu pressure there is so strong that not even rankers can withstand it. Plus, in the depths of the water tank, and Gastang's listening on, that Shinhyo is currently on the loose, is it not? And then, the regular will never escape from here by his own efforts. That Shinhyo is, or even wiped out an entire branch of the Lopobia family. No matter how powerful the regular may be, there's no way he can fight against that monster. And then, is this just setting up to be another, yeah, nobody thinks Bomb can do it, but Bomb just easily breezes past it sort of challenge? Or is it setting up for an external force that they don't expect to allow Bomb to get through? Like maybe the Leviathan is something that allows him to go through, maybe his sort of, maybe there's even a test from Traumare of his quality as an irregular, and maybe that helps him get through it. Or maybe, like I mentioned, maybe he gets through it because of the connection he formed with Hemus Lime. Bomb just my friends are my powering his way through it, and having Hemus Lime end up doing something. Maybe if it's her family's guardian creature, you'd think she has some way of controlling it, or at least some connection to it, maybe. But either way, we have Season 3, The Escape, Part 1, I'm assuming. It doesn't say, but yeah, The Escape 1, I'm assuming. Because last week was still a deal, Part 2, I think. Briefing room on the submarine. Is everyone here? And yeah, again, this is what I meant. This is such an interesting group that I want to see interactions out of. With Gororo, Lilial, and Shilial, we got the snakes, and Lore's in the lighthouse, Andrasi, Bomb is there, Kun, you got, what is it, Elbaba and Rak and Cha. It's such an interesting group. I know how confused you must be, but I called you here to explain the current situation. Since they said get through on his own abilities, and of course Yuri isn't in the panel, but she's here somewhere too, I thought it meant that he was going to have to travel outside of the ship and get through on his own and then join up with the rest of them. But if he's allowed to get through it like with his allies, that's a bit different. Maybe the explanation just wasn't translated that well then. My name is Gororo. I was one of Lopobia family's branch leaders, but I've been branded a traitor. Now tell me how we're going to escape from here. Is that Elaine's father? Okay, so this is like actually being brought up. It would be one thing. So bringing up Elaine is actually a good sign, I think, because it'd be one thing if we just had Elbaba hanging around and it was never mentioned, and he was like, yeah, they're from the same family, but it's not that big a deal, who cares? But I like that it's actually being brought up. It's something that Bomb's actually thinking about. And then Elbaba's thinking, what am I doing here? He's still alive. We're currently heading for the great aquarium in the center of the battleship. The aquarium is massive. It's the largest official aquarium in the entire tower. That's really cool. I like that visual a lot. My father keeps rare Shinhyo from all around the tower there. At one point he created a deep sea city with a huge air dome in the aquarium. That is really cool. And moved a branch into the city. Although, they've all been wiped out now. Wiped out. That's such a cool setup for a place. That's right. Once they fell out of favor with the family head, they were exterminated that very same day and the city was destroyed. And I wonder, again, if this has anything to do with the branch that he destroyed because of Yasracha saying to, like back in that flashback. It doesn't seem like it's connected to that, but I guess I won't rule it out yet. Jeez, it was their own fault for upsetting the family head, says Lilial. Perhaps you're too young to know the reason, Princess. Do you know why they were exterminated? They accidentally failed to prepare a meal once for the family head's favorite Shinhyo, so the animal ended up missing one meal. Do you really think an entire branch, voice crack, an entire branch deserved to be wiped out just for that? Anyway, let me continue what I was saying about our escape. In the fallen underwater city within the great aquarium, and then Kun's thinking, the 10 family heads are all the same. We found a ruined gate, and we managed to repair it directly. Because though we've only like seen face-to-face personally his interactions with Data Edwan, we know that Kuneye's actual relationship with actual Edwan is mainly based around the fact that Edwan forces his children to fight to the death, basically, and kind of abandons certain ones. The gate is set to destroy itself after a single use. We're going to escape through that gate. Alright, so I guess the plan is going to be for everybody to get down to that within the city, which is so cool. I love the idea of this like abandoned city within the largest aquarium. That's so cool. Inside the aquarium, and we're seeing all the fish and creatures. And man, this art's incredibly cool, of all the different sea creatures. For some reason, the further in that we go, I feel more pressure on my body. Of course, what's wrong with you, Turtle? I'm totally fine. So of course, Rack has like really strong Shinsu resistance. The depth of the aquarium that we're trying to reach has the same Shinsu density as upper floors of the tower. The submarine's the only reason regulars like you are able to withstand the Shinsu. Wait, in that case, what about the Shinhyo living here? But I'm fine, says Rack. Right, the Shinhyo living here are strong enough even to survive at the top of the tower. Nuts. And some of them are just like dwarfing the manatee sub. Then isn't this kind of dangerous? Don't worry, this is a special submarine. To the creatures here, it looks like a fellow Shinhyo. We're safe, if you say so. That's so cool. And then, that's one of those crabs we ran into in the nest. So, those are Truke's relatives? This is so great. Truke's relatives. I see. So this is the sea he referred to. I can see why he was confused. The leader of the Lopobia family. Man, that's so cool looking. This shot of Traumary's back blending into the water is like a sea that devours and rules over everything on this battleship. And then we have a danger signal. What's wrong? What's that sound? A Shinhyo. It's huge. Did he release that one? Bedroom inside the submarine. Mother, are you alright? Okay, we're getting Laura stuff. We have Bomb and the family. Mother, we'll be out of here soon. Just hang in there a bit longer. And then Bomb looks up. What the? I sense something. So yeah, I guess by get out of here by your own power, I guess they did mean he's allowed to take his friends with him. So Cha, presumably Yuri, is probably somewhere around, even though we haven't seen her. Unless she like left on her own. I guess he is just allowed to be with them. They made it sound like he was going to have to go like actually alone. I sense something. Something's coming. And then it looks like a massive goblin shark? Oh no, there's more than one, so that's probably not like the thing. Okay. And then we see some sort of teeth wrapping around the manatee sub. Oh? And we have a chomp sound effect. And we have everybody falling. But how do I love the snake? How do I love the Serpent Master? Why do I love him now? Him like protecting his daughters from falling? Why am I just so Team Serpent Master now? I don't get it. I don't get how much I've come to love him. Looks like we have company, so Yuri is with them. So Yuri did just come along. A Shinhyo appears to be attacking the submarine, says Cha. Uh-huh. Well, it's not like they were going to let us go without a fight. Should we go out there and deal with this? No. You're the family head. If we interfere, the game is over. Okay, so he's allowed to go with them. They just can't interfere. Bomb, you know what you need to do, right? Yes. I'll go out there. It's too dangerous. If that Shinhyo is a test from the family head, then I have to face it, and I can't run away. Okay, so it is the goblin shark, then. It looked like there was more than one with a similar mouth, but I guess not. I guess that is just what they were referring to. Unless Bomb's going to go out there thinking that's what they were referring to, then he beats it, and he's like, yeah, I won. And then an even bigger fish shows up. That's possible. But he exits the sub, and we see... Or maybe it's just like a multi-headed one. We see three no even more mouths behind them. Alright. What? The Slayer candidate went outside the submarine. What's he thinking? Says Gororo. That's the Shinhale that wiped out the entire underwater city. That one creature. Okay, so it is. It has multiple, mouths. Exterminated an entire branch. Besides, the Shinsu pressure here is too strong for a regular to withstand. Don't worry about that. Bomb isn't affected by any Shinsu pressure. In fact, relatively speaking, perhaps being surrounded by strong pressure makes Bomb even stronger as well. That's true. That's true, because with thicker, denser Shinsu, and Bomb being an irregular, but also just being really good with Shinsu after all the training he's done, actually having denser Shinsu around him might just be a power buff. He might actually just be stronger. And he pulls out the bow again, copying Kelhelm. I'm not sure whose memory it is, but I can sense it. That Shinhale is no different from anyone else here. It's just another prisoner. And we have the Leviathan behind him, captured by the family head and trapped here. I know you don't want to be here either. That's why you're so full of rage. In that case, and then we see, I'll set you free. He fires the arrow. And that's interesting. There are even things reminiscent of, this is interesting. He said, I'll set you free. Plus, there are even things there that are reminiscent of, what is it? Suo's, Shinsu redirection powers. Plus, the last time Bomb used the bow, he didn't use the bow to hurt or kill anyone. He used the bow to teleport his friends, like the way that Kelhalam uses the bow, along with Suo's Shinsu redirection. So what if he's copying the bow plus Shinsu redirection from those two, and just like he did with Yama's group and his friends to save them, he's not killing this thing. What if he's teleporting it outside of the tank? That would be very interesting. Because that's what this power did the last time. And we see all of the branches of it going in. And then... okay. We see more of it. We're seeing, outside the battleship. And then... what was that? We have Traumarie and Gastang reacting, as well as Yuri and Kun and Rak. Yeah, Bomb's just releasing them. He is copying Suo and Kelhelm's abilities to release them all, like he did at the earlier wall. Okay, we have Hema Slime. Okay, so we are seeing her. Gyaro, I've been looking for you. Guardian Animal Gyaro. Okay then. What a beautiful... I'm sorry. I'm just getting hit with mate cheeks. Oh my god. That's really great. I love mate. What a beautiful sight. And they still haven't fully left yet, Mate and Tiara. So that's interesting. We are wrapping up all of these plot threads to end this arc. And now we're seeing the Goblin Shark as well. It makes me want to destroy them all. Slayer can... Kayup survived! We really are wrapping up this arc. This is nuts. Hema Slime got her beast back. We check in with Tiara because she's been a huge part of this arc. Same with Mate. He's been great. And then we have Koyup who's still hanging on. Freedom. I see. So this is your answer to my offer. Jovial Grace. And that's so interesting. And he's calling him Jovial Grace this time. That's so interesting. And it's so interesting that, again, freedom's the answer to his offer. Because we've seen multiple times when Traumarie's been like, I could kill you. I could kill people, but I don't want to kill people. I want to manipulate people. And now we see Bomb's rebuke of that is freeing the creatures that he's been holding up. And that's also, again, the challenge was this thing's going to come at you and try to kill you. Instead of Bomb trying to kill it, because they're like, it's too strong for you, you can't kill it. It wiped out an entire branch. Maybe it is too strong for Bomb to kill it. But we don't have to find out, because Bomb can just teleport it away. I think that this is a really good way to end this conflict. Like, to end this arc, I think this is a really good ending. I don't remember exactly who it was, but I think I once knew someone who thought like you. I want you for myself so that I can find out who that was. And that's so interesting because Leviathan has his memories. Can't Leviathan just give them back? It is so interesting. If you want to know, just take the memories back. Interesting. In 1 week, says Gaston, I'll see you in the arena, Traumerei. If you can make it there, that is. And he walks off. As he watched the Shinheo escape from the battleship's aquarium, Baum thought to himself, maybe the 10 family heads themselves are like Shinheo, trapped in this massive tower. In that case, I know what I need to do. Is he going to wall hike song everybody? Is that the plan here? Is just tower liberation freeing everyone from the tower? I mean, which kind of would make sense to a certain degree since we've always known since season 1 that Baum and Yuri were kind of aligned with wall hike song. Like, even if not purposefully, like the meta narrative of the story was aligning them that way. This has been a great chapter. Honestly, a great arc. This has been a hell of an arc. I came out of this with so many new characters here, and me liking so many of them so much. This has been so good. And like, just the character stuff and the overall story stuff, I just feel like for a lot of the things that people in general, and me included, were thinking were kind of, about Tower of God, kind of slipping a bit. For me, I feel like this arc has really gotten things back on track a lot. My lord, I'm not sure what the Slayer candidate did. And that's coming from me, a guy who loved the Nest. I know a lot of people didn't like the Nest. I love the Nest. But even coming from me, I think that this has been a really incredible arc. My lord, I'm not sure what the Slayer candidate did, but the Shinheo are leaving the battleship. Shall I go and bring them back? And we have Kirin. No, forget it. Let them go. I feel like I need to empty the fish tank. Right now, there's only one fish that I want to catch. And we see just this sea of gravestones. Again, this is such a cool area. That's something else I feel like people have mentioned too. Early in Tower of God, like especially I think early season 2, there were so many really cool landscapes and really cool areas. And along the way, there have still been cool areas, but I feel like a lot of that's kind of been lost. I think this is the coolest area we've seen in a long time. Like, just an abandoned city that was completely wiped out within an aquarium and just this field of gravestones. It's just such a cool area. Are those gravestones of the dead branch members? Stay focused. We've reached the warp device. We're going to warp soon. Plus, like I've mentioned, it's really cool seeing this group interact. This is a really cool group they have going on. Bringing Yuri back into it, where like, I was kind of critical of bringing Yuri back in during Helltrain. During Helltrain, I'm just like, it might be too early. Yuri kind of takes some of the stakes away, but I think having Yuri be a part of this right now is really cool. Like, I don't know, this is just so good. Getting Jinsung out of there because he didn't really need to be there, and narratively he was kind of holding back the bomb stuff a bit because he was kind of just being used as a bargaining chip, but then having Cha stay to develop Cha more, it's so good. It's so good. Avenge us, and then please avenge us. Our God. Could this be? What I have to do? Is Lopo be a Traumerei? That's interesting. Kill him for us. It's just like what happened with the Souls in White, kind of. Perhaps. That's so cool. We don't know exactly what Mom's thinking. Near the hotel on the Lopo be a battleship. And then, Lord. Sorry. We have Tiara and Mate with Gaston now. Lord Gaston. And they bow down. I'm sorry, Father. I failed to complete my mission. That's okay, Tiara. Thanks to the quick thinking of Kun's son, everything went as I hoped it would. Now, the Irregular and Traumerei will go right where we want them, because again, he is trying to lure Traumerei somewhere. Before then, Lopobia's army will likely try to catch the irregular. There's a bunch of missing spaces this chapter. Anybody else notice that? This is like the third time or so that it's happened. We have to stop them. Who is this? This design. The oversized sunglasses are kind of goofy. I love it. Let Hugo and the rest of the army know. And then we have some sort of like mole weasel person. We have somebody with glasses. So I wonder if Hugo is the person with the oversized sunglasses, or if Hugo is maybe the guy on the left, if that's the same one we've seen before. Who knows? And then, as of this moment, maybe this is Hugo coming up. Any Lopobia troops that set foot in our territory are to be exterminated. And this is very, very cool because we've seen so many people from Lopobia, so to like actually get development for more Pobedao people is really cool. Because we have the whole book club that we don't have names for yet. We have this group being shown off here that looks like 4 new people. And then on top of that, we got like Tiara and Mate this arc that got developed. So it's cool getting like actual Pobedao characters. In 1 week from now, this rupture will be the start of his downfall. And see, they say his like vaguely, but for me, I think the his here, I think the him is Zahard. I think Zahard's him. And I think that maybe taking down Traumerei and doing whatever Gustang's plan here is the first step of dethroning Zahard for whatever reason. We don't know 100% yet. I think if I'm to give a theory on Gustang's motives, I think that after what happened to Eurasia N, we know he didn't make any more princesses. Even when he had a potential one like Tiara, I think the thing with Gustang is I think he feels guilty for what happened to his daughter. I think he actually loved Eurasia Blossom. He had a daughter with the woman he actually loves, and then everything that happened to Eurasia N happened to her, and I think that that's what turned him against Zahard. And I think we're seeing the results of that play out. And again, like I said, I feel like this arc, whether Traumerei kills him or not, or whether Zahard himself comes in to kill him, whether he sacrifices himself some way, I think I put in my prediction months ago that I feel like the most story strong, the like most good story prediction that I have would be Gustang dies, but in the process, either A, freeze Eurasia N, maybe not personally, but like somebody frees her, like he dies but Eurasia N is freed, or the truth of the like true history of the tower is spread out to the public, or both of those things. That's what I think my predictions are for what could happen, is Gustang dies, but Eurasia N is possibly probably freed, and the truth of the tower gets spread out. That's what I said months ago. And I still think that makes so much sense for Gustang's character, if I'm right about his motives, being that basically everything going on for him is predicated on guilt over what happened to Eurasia N and wanting to set things right, I guess. Or like try to, I don't know, get some sort of redemption for that. For the princess system as a whole, maybe even. But either way, I have talked a lot through this chapter, plus it was a long chapter. I'm going to go ahead and get it posted for all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, my first thoughts and reaction to it. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. If you want a link to the Discord server, we can talk there. Just asking, I can give you a link to it. If you want to talk on Twitter, we can talk there too. Comments, Twitter, Discord, it doesn't matter. Love talking about Tower of God with you all. If you'd like to help support the channel, a super thanks would be appreciated, but if you want One Piece a bit early, if you want a shout out at the end of every video, you can get joined down below to become a channel member, or you can go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description, to become a patron. And yeah, either any of those 3 things could help me continue to make videos. It really does help out the channel. Thank you all so much. Thank you to people who are patrons and members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly. Thank you to Magical Girls, FR Nono, Huarian, and Smeller Dog. Thank you to Cherryton Student David Langstaff. Thank you to Slayer Candidate SG. And thank you to Pure Element Pate Ardial. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for your support. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all next time.